Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support, any kind of updates and the such. I usually go about on Twitter X. Um, and yesterday, I did manage to publish Firewatch, the second episode. And the next episode will be tomorrow, Friday. And we'll continue with the scheduling until I wrap up this series. I did already put the Callisto Protocol, which was the previous gameplay series, on the completed gameplay series. But yeah, other than that, it seems that there is not huge amount of updates to give. Again, I'm still reeling a little bit off this shoulder injury that I had. It's again getting old, so recovery times are way longer. But I can now more confidently stay a little bit more a seated position, even for work purposes, and I think I will ramp up the recording sessions for the gameplay series that I'm planning to continue to do. Again, nothing regarding live stream yet, but yeah, it's mainly time constraints for the streaming because I really want to, I don't know, get around and see if I can manage something for Death Stranding gameplay. Which is something that I really want to continue to play with, and I think it's best suited to play it on a live stream for because of long stretches of time and how the game itself progresses, at least so far what I played. And also I need to get around and get those demos of games that I have on my wish list there. But yeah, other than that, improving a little by little in terms of the physical shape. But yeah, other than that, let's go to the news. Not much happening, but we got yesterday the embargo lifting of the 5070 Ti review stuff and the main consensus of everybody. I watched particularly three, which usually it's the ones that I tend to follow up more precisely, which is Gamers Nexus, Hardware Unboxed, and J2 Cents. Um, they usually do, especially Gamers Nexus and Hardware Unboxed, they do very comprehensive reviews. They go throughout a lot of data, and usually hardware unbox afterwards. At least, I think within a week or so, they will do like a 40 game benchmark with this new GPU for sure. So we have a better notion of how this GPU performs. J2Sense is more I don't know, more freestyle. He has his own testing suite. He's improving from feedback that he received from Gamers Nexus. But yeah, I usually keep up with those three. I cannot keep up with 10 creators, but at least following up on those three, I have a good sense of what this CPU is, which is a shit show of a launch. Also, again, I watched some videos from Moore Law is Dead um, from his own insiders. He usually has good data regarding insider information, especially on the retail side of things, especially in this case regarding stock. And again, it seems like again a no-show in terms of stock. Some of them like 10 GPUs for one store. Some of them said that in their own cases it's worse than the 5080. So 5090 levels of stock. Again, it's going to be a shit show. Again, even on the reviews, um, even I think Gamers Nexus got the Asus the 50 Ti Prime, which is supposedly to the MSRP of 750. J2 Cents also received that GPU. I did a comment on a video that he made that, again, the prices of the supposed MSRP are not, in a lot of places, are not at MSRP, are around $900. Again, even at $750, if the card comes out at that price point, it's not a huge value. It's not bad per se, given the market that we have now in terms of GPUs. But it's not bad if it is at 750, but it's not going to be at 750. Again, it's might as well continue looking for better deals on previous generations if you are able to find any on the part of the 40 series. stopped producing at least the 4080 Super and the non-Super variants a few months ago. Same thing with the 4090, I think. The 4070 series. I don't know how that goes in terms of stock. Also, I'm not keeping too close of an eye there. But I think if you manage, I think the best value so far that I've been seeing is the 7900 XT. If you can manage to find it around, I don't know, $600 or so. But I think the stock there is also not excellent there. But yeah, you have to take into account again. Uh, if you have a good GPU that manages to play the games that you are still playing at reasonable frame rates, at the resolution that you want to play with, and the hardware, the rest of the hardware can follow up on that also. I think you just again so far better wait for the RDNA 4 event and launch of those GPUs. It seems the stock is way better in RDNA 4, at least the 9070 XT. Um, the performance seems to be in certain information that we've been seeing here and there. It seems to be almost on par on the 4080, which is good. If again, it's just a matter of the pricing because performance and performance in stock and all that jazz, it's only good if the price is right for the product itself. Hopefully, it will be launching on a very competitive pricing. It's my only hope so far for people that especially have like 2 to 3 generations. They bought the GPU go that far, and they are looking for a good deal to upgrade. Again, I don't recommend at this moment in time upgrading, at least at this level of the 80s to 70 class cards or equivalent to NVIDIA at this moment, unless you find a very, very, very good deal. But yeah, the stocks, again, NVIDIA is screwing up everybody. Again, and to a certain extent, the prices are going that high, mainly because people are buying it. Again, it's not the fault there. It's a matter of decision of the company itself from AMD. The fact that they are not competing at the high end or trying to compete at the high end with NVIDIA, it lets these 5080s and 5090s get loose on the pricing side of things. Again, we're still seeing 5080s $2,000 and probably up there or more, and then the 5090s. I saw some cases $4,000. Again, it's ridiculous. At least for me, I cannot justify that amount of money to buy for a GPU, even though it can be the best in the world. I think there are some concessions that you can do it budgetary style. I prefer to spend $4,000 on a complete overall system and make some compromises of not having a 5090. That's for sure. And again, with $4,000, with the hardware that you have, you can buy basically almost everything high end except for the GPU. But yeah, it's not looking good. Again, I don't know, 8 days until the RDNA 4 event. See how the MSRP is going to be with those cards. The launch supposedly is going to be March 5th, along with the 5070 Ti non-super or non-Ti, sorry. But yeah, we have to wait. Unfortunately, we have to wait a little bit longer to see how it goes, and then we get the launch there on the beginning of March. See how much stock there is of those RDNA, if they really do manage to compete with the current lineup and this new generation with the 5070 Ti's and the such. But yeah, the price is a shit show. No stock. Again, if it has stock and again, it's the 5070 Ti. It's not that it's a bad product. It's the price. It's basically the price because it seems to perform around the 4080-ish kind of region. I think it's between the 4080 and the 4080 Super, around that on average, which is kind of a lift on average of around maximum better case scenario of 20% off of the 4070 Ti, if not mistaken. But yeah, it's the price. You're paying. You're paying for not having any kind of price to performance uplift from generation to generation. You're just keeping you pay extra to get you pay X amount of money to get X the same amount of money in terms of perform uplift in terms of performance, which is not good. It's a stagnation in terms of product. It's just spending money just to spend money. Yeah, again. A lot of people are putting their hopes, including myself, on the RDNA 4 to see if it can start bringing down some pressure on NVIDIA to tame their own pricing. And I don't know, because in terms of stocks, I think we are still reeling off from the Chinese new lunar year. In terms of manufacturing, I think it supposedly will ramp up, and the production will ramp up by the end of March. But yeah. Hopefully we'll have more competitive prices starting next month and better products also. But yeah, for this moment, it's what I got. I will leave the videos from at least Gamers Nexus and Hardware Unbox. They have more comprehensive review on in terms of the specs and the stats and how it performs relatively to what we already have on the market. But yeah, it's not good. And the 5070 non-TI is going for the same path. So that's that. In terms of other stuff here, we got some interesting comments from Shuhei Yoshida, which was the former director of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, very well-known person on from Sony, and is being giving some interesting comments here and there. And in this case, has to do with Fromsoftware. Again, there was. I don't think they were in the excellent relations. At least Mr. Shuya Yoshida was not in a very good relation with previous CEO Jim Ryan. I think it was some kind of corporate wars. It was demoted or something like that. Yeah, and this has to do a little bit with Demon Souls. Again, he stated that From Software refused to release a sequel to Demon Souls after receiving poor treatment from Sony regarding, at that time, the PS3 game. Again, it has to do by the fact that they just publish it on Japan, and then in the meantime, they did manage to internationally publish for different publishers. But yeah, in this case, Atlas was in charge of publishing in US and Bandai Namco or Namco at the time in Europe. And it was a huge success in those territories. Even Mr. Shuya Yoshida did manage to say that he failed to see the potential of this kind of game. Again, I don't think he had the I don't know the get good mentality of playing the Demon Souls because they basically yeah he didn't saw any kind of potential at the time. He thought that the game was a bad game. Again, expectations also I don't think they were in the right position there at the time. Again, Demon Souls is it's not the first Souls-like kind of a game, but it was the kind of the first one in terms of international recognition and kind of keep up and start picking up on this kind of new genre style of games. And I think that there was a mismatch in terms of seeing the potential of something new. And yeah, that's why afterwards that Sony tried to contact From Software to do the, even though they were already planning on making a sequel to Demon Souls, the way they were treated in terms of the publishing business side of things from Sony, they just didn't want to work on a sequel on Demon Souls. That's why it never came out, and instead they went with Bandai Namco for publishing what they created at the time, Dark Souls. And that went very well, as we all know, 3 titles. And again, they continue to publish with Bandai Namco in terms of the Souls-like with Elden Ring and Sekiro. Yeah, it was a lack of vision from Sony's part on recognizing that he had a gem there in the beginning, basically, of a new genre in terms of gaming. But of course, in the meantime, after all this happened, they kind of buried the hatchet per se of the sour relationship that they had with the publishing of Bloodborne. But even then, um, we didn't. Again, I think it has to do a lot of with the IP ownership. The fact that we didn't have, I think they had I don't think I think it only has the port for the PS4. There is no PC port for this. There is no remastered versions. There is no sequels, no nothing. I know Sony is keeping putting DCMA, DMCA, sorry, copyright strikes to modders that did like the simple mod to run the game at 60 FPS. I know there is an independent effort of porting the game to PC. I see some videos and some articles here and there, but nothing out of in terms of official from Sony, which is a shame. It's one of those games that I really want to try out. Bloodborne. Again, I don't have any console, so I'm missing on that one. But I think Sekiro might be the most closely thing that I might be able to play with as a Bloodborne in terms of gameplay systems. I think it's the most similar thing from at least from within from software. But yeah, at least good to see that there is some recognition that they failed to on recognizing the potentiality of what we call now Souls-like genre games at that time. But yeah, very interesting from Shoya Yoshida. He's been commenting some stuff here and there, which is very interesting. But again, I wanted to focus more on From Software because again, we all know there is only one Demon Souls game, and there was a remaster from Nixus, if not mistaken. I think it's Nixus that usually do this remasters from or remakes from Sony IP game and games there. But yeah, in other news, we got Pacific Drive. They managed to sell now 1 million copies. Again, I always highlight this game when it's on a deal. And I managed to cover this at the beginning. Again, this is a very small indie studio. This game, and the game itself is very, very good. It's one of those that kind of roguelike kind of a thing, where you drive your car, which is the main tool that you use to play around with within the areas that you have to go to do these runs. It has less than 20% on this studio, and the game itself is pretty good, very intricate in terms of the gameplay systems, as a kind of roguelike kind of a game experience. And yeah, they managed to sell 1 million copies. They already had like free updates, and there is some cosmetic downloadable contact packs as DLC. And it's going to be the fourth, which supposedly is the bigger kind of substantial update. It will come soon. But yeah, it's one of those that I really want to try out one of these days, even if it is to play by myself, because it's very intricate on how you go about here. For example, to enter the car, you have to open the door, enter the car, close the door, turn the key on, or check if it is on park, turn the key on, put it on drive, and all that jazz. You have to brake to turn off the car. You have to do the how you do it kind of in real life, which is very interesting. This kind of intricate mechanics, so you have to pay attention to what you're doing in this game. But yeah, I really kind of enjoy what this game has to offer. It's one of those that I want to try out one of these days, that's for sure. And then finally, a little bit of conversation here of yep, the thing that we've been seeing from some time now, which is layoffs. Um, again, this former BioWare executive, I never heard of. Again, the name is not strange to me. Mark Darrah, might have even quoted on him in a couple of stuff here, but I never associated the name to the face. Um, Mainly because, again, it seems, again, this former BioWare executive, again, he has a point here in the fact of this kind of layoffs. But I think that the problem is more in line. And I think by the fact that he was a former executive producer there, and I think has to do to a certain point with, I don't know, Dragon Age Veilguard, and to a certain extent the latest Evolved game to a certain point, because of all the commotion around this game. But yeah, the fact that again, celebrating layoffs. Again, I don't celebrate layoffs as a principle there. Even though I understand why some people celebrate it, but again, if you can avoid being cruel, it's one thing. But to a certain extent, when these companies allow for their own employees to express certain viewpoints that are, first of all, anti-consumer, because when you a game is not only a form of art; it's a product that you are selling. And if you allow the persons that are working on that product to be have the most anti-consumer rhetoric, which is this game is not for you. We are going to do this game on purpose for you not to like this game. We're going to pick up the an already existing IP and transform it in a way that the previous consumers of this product or versions of this product, and in this case, when you do sequels, and in this case, Dragon Age Guard, in that sense, we're going to pick apart this IP, make it as least desirable as possible. um, yeah, when you allow employees that are representing the company itself making these kind of comments, and again they are more in depth, sometimes wishing with their threats and that people that shouldn't exist if they don't like the game and all that jazz. Again, you will see always the other side of the coin of this argument, which it is okay. So you did a shit product, you're wishing and saying that this product is not for the consumer, so the consumer will not pay attention to that product anymore, in the sense that they are not going to buy it. And then, of course, after the product is launched on this game, the game, and it doesn't sell, and of course, when you have, again, for especially on the game, you have to invest forehand the production budget. So you spend money to produce something, and then you just hope that when the game is launched or the product is launched in the market, that it sells well enough that at least make even from the cost that you had to produce this game or the product that you are putting on the market. And lately we've been seeing, of course, because these products or these games are not catering to the base audience, or the majority of the audience that is expecting a good game. And all the marketing team and the community managers that just piling down on calling names, because we've been seeing the rhetoric, especially a lot of it from Reddit, in some cases on Discord community managers, and to the extent in some Steam community managers there, on again just calling names. And usually these names as calling names, it's a cruel thing to do, which is out of nowhere you just calling out people from Nazis, fascists, racists. Again, this has to a certain extent, the word itself or the name calling loses a little bit of the meaning, because again, it doesn't mean that doesn't exist those kind of people. But if you're putting a blank statement on the majority of the potential consumer for your own product as something that it's not desirable, again, you have the other side of the coin, which is the for every action there is a reaction. And of course, I don't condone getting into or creeping into personal stuff, and trying to, I don't know, from we saw cases from doxing and to make threats. And again, it doesn't lead anywhere. I take a more of approach. If okay, if the message is this game is not for me, okay, I don't even talk about that game that much, or avoid talking about it unless there is something that I might think that it's worthwhile talking. And I don't even cover the game. I don't play the game. I don't buy the game. I don't recommend the game, and I will let it fail by itself, because my time is usually precious for me, and I prefer to spend time on things that might interest me and things that I really do enjoy doing, or in this case, enjoying playing games. And but yeah, he has a point in the sense that again, it doesn't remove the right to have an opinion, especially after you bought a game. But again, what he goes about and telling that uh, for people to avoid being cruel, or you don't have the right to being cruel. Again, it goes both ways in that sense. I think he's trying to cover a little bit of one side of the thing, which I understand, because he's kind of an insider in the sense that he was on the inside the factory where the sausage is made. But yeah, sometimes people lose the point of view of trying to put themselves in the shoes of a consumer. It's the same thing that I don't know. Ace Apple again. We have kind of the same thing. Apple launching a new iPhone or something like that, and in the marketing campaign saying, if you're not like this and that, this iPhone is not for you. Again, if you start seeing something in those lines, for example, an Apple, given an example here, calling names to potential consumers of buying a new iPhone, because if you're not in line with this kind of idea or opinion, you are racist and you should not buy this iPhone, or you should buy any Apple products because we don't like to do business with whatever it is they are calling people with. You'll see some Apple closing the doors very soon after, if they took this kind of the same approach that developer studios and publishing studios let their own employees do these things. And you can take it a little bit level up there. If you go, for example, with your old iPhone and saying, okay, I got a malfunction on my phone, and go to Apple Store to fix the Apple, and they say, oh, they don't like your face, and so you seem like a very prejudiced person. I think you're a racist and a bigot. I will not fix this phone for you. And yeah, you wouldn't see something like this happen. But yeah, it seems that there is a kind of a special case for game developers just being able to almost shut down the entire industry to a certain extent. Not the entire industry, but at least a lot of Western studios, letting those employees that are to a certain extent are always representing the company that they work for, and yeah, let this kind of mentality corrupt their own employees, and let them lose. Again, then we see the consequences of those actions with the other side of gamers, which are consumers, and they are the ones they are paying for a product. And if they are expecting a product to be something like that, and even though they want to play that game or have that product, if forehanded they are being told that they are not deserving of buying their product, again, it will lead to layoffs, because you cannot sustain a company um, producing games for free. It doesn't work like that. But yeah, basically that's my take here. Again, I don't have nothing against this person, Mark Darrah. It's just the fact that he was mentioning on his own video that, again, it's the fact that people don't have the right to being cruel, and to a certain extent I agree with them. But this is basically a reaction from the gaming community, which are customers, and they've been told that that they are everything under the sun, and they even the companies or the employees that represent the company were being cruel at first. So they took the first step of being cruel and disrespectful for the audience that they are supposed to cater to. But yeah, I think people should put themselves in both shoes and try to see their perspectives. But yeah, if you when you start down spiraling in this kind of rhetoric, you're going to get like Albert Thomas, you're going to get you fuck around and you find out. Because if you have a product that you want to sell, you should cater to the majority of the customer base. And when you don't do that, you just lose money. And when a company lose money, they have to start cutting the fat off, which is people that are not producing enough for the company to continue to be viable. But yeah, basically this is it. Nothing against this guy, at least as far as I know. I do agree with to a certain extent. I just think he misses a little bit on the other side or the other perspective. So our perspective as gamers, which in this case, gamers are consumers and customers, and they are the ones that have the power of the wallet to dictate when the game fails or not. But yeah, let's go for some gaming deals. We have Guardians of the Galaxy still on sale, 85% off. This seems to be a pretty good. I always heard good things about this game, so this is why it is highlighted. We got also Spirit Farewell Edition. Again, I already did the gameplay of this demo. If you want to try it for yourself, please do so. Very interesting gameplay mechanics and story that might be inside of this game. I did enjoy the demo, and it's at this point in time 85% off on Steam. We got still Batman Arkham Collection again, the free games. So Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight. Uh, the first two are the Game of the Year edition, so it has all the DLC and all the content included there. And then Arkham Knight also includes the season pass here. Again, for cheap, around $9 or so. I think it's a good price here. We've got Deus Ex, Human Revolution, Director's Cut, 85% off, stamp of approval, and the same thing goes for Deus Ex Mankind Divided, also 85% off. And I recommend the digital deluxe edition. It's not that much of extra, and it does have the extra content there on that deluxe edition there. Then you got Dome Keeper, 50% off. If not sure it's something for you, you got the demo to play with. I think around here and there, I do like this game, and I do recommend this game, especially at this price point. Again, a lot of stuff that you can do in this game, a little bit of mining mechanics, tower defense mechanics, and all that jazz. Yeah, I really do enjoy this game. And then finally, we got Jusant. I'm again still recording the gameplay series within this game, and from what I recorded and played, I really do enjoy this game, and I do recommend at this price point for 50% off. Or you can just wait when this series launch to have a better view of what this game is about. But yeah, I'm enjoying the game. Some bugs here and there, but very rare. I only encountered just a couple of camera stuff, lockups, but other than that, the game is pretty good there. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up for today with the plug on my Patreon for extra support. The extra support is more in line for me to be able to get around and have a better storage solution so I can have backups of the stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.